Welcome to the SAP FICO certification course. My name is Nashad Najmuddin and I'm a certified SAP consultant with 10 years of SAP experience. I have completed 4 end-to-end life cycles, 3 global rollout projects and 8 continuous business improvement projects throughout my career. I live in Melbourne, Australia and have worked with top-tier consulting firms such as Accenture, IBM, Fujitsu and UXC Oxygen. My academic background is in information systems engineering and I followed up with my MBA majoring in finance. I am also a certified project management professional. Let's have a look about what is SAP. SAP is a German multinational software company known for making enterprise software to manage business operations. The acronym SAP stands for Systems, Applications and Products for Data Processing. It started back in 1972 when 5 ex-IBM employees started a small software company in Germany with just one customer. Now SAP has grown over 190 countries with more than 290,000 customers and they employ more than 70,000 staff members. It is the most valued company in the German stock exchange and they have overtaken industry heavyweights like Volkswagen and Siemens. Now in a country like Germany where engineering has been renowned, a software company like SAP over the last 40 to 50 years have become the number 1 company in Germany. So it just tells the achievement and how organically SAP has grown over the last few decades. It's also the 3rd largest enterprise software making company after Microsoft and Oracle. Let's look at what is SAP R3 and SAP ERP. The old name given to SAP ERP was R3. Now the R stands for real-time data processing and the 3 is for the 3-tier architecture. So still SAP uses the same 3-tier architecture. That's the application layer, presentation layer and database layer. The new name given to it is SAP ERP. ERP, as you know, of course stands for Enterprise Resource Planning. So what do these 3 layers do? Let's start off with the middle one, the presentation layer. That's the SAP screen which you log into. It's called the SAP GUI or GUI, standing for Graphical User Interface. So it presents to the customer or the client and that's the screen which you use to do all your transactions. The main graphical user interface screen. That's called the presentation layer. Now the database layer is where all the data is stored in SAP. All your master data and transaction data, all the information is stored in the database layer. The application layer is where all the transactions are processing. So it processes with the database, talks to the database, gathers all the information and processes. And all the processing is done in the application layer. So once again, the 3 layers, presentation layer is the main user interface screen which you see. The database layer is all the data is stored and application layer is where all the processing is happening. Let's look at the SAP ERP modules. SAP has many modules. The most popular ones are the FI module, financial accounting, CO module, controlling, MM for materials management, SD for sales and distribution, PS for project systems, and HR for human resources. Let's look at what is SAP FI. The FI acronym comes from the financial accounting module of SAP. So financial accounting manages the financial transactions of the organization. Now, as you know, financial transactions are recorded in the balance sheet and income statement of an organization. So the subcomponents of this module is aligned with the balance sheet and income statement. Now you will understand in more detail when you look at the subcomponents of the FI module. First is the general ledger. General ledger is where all the financial transactions are happening. Accounts payable. So anything which you need to pay to someone is called accounts payable. For example, all your outstanding vendor payments, If you have any outstanding loans for the banks, it's all called accounts payable. Accounts receivable. So anything which you need to receive from somebody is called accounts receivable. Now another accounts receivable category, you also have customer outstanding payments, some inventory payments, anything, some cash, petty cash. These are all usually under the accounts receivable section. It's also might be called as non-fixed assets. Then you have asset accounting. Now the term asset accounting is specifically for the fixed assets. So fixed assets, of course, is your land, building, vehicles, anything to do with the heavy machinery. Is all your fixed assets. It's coming on the asset accounting side of SAP. And you have finally the banking ledger. So this is where you create your banks which you do for outgoing payments, incoming payments, checks, outgoing checks, incoming checks, anything relevant to the banking transactions comes under the banking module. So these are the 5 components of the SAP F5 modules. Let's look at the SAP CO module. The CO module supports the process of planning, reporting and monitoring the operations of the business. It mainly looks at managing the costs. Whereas we saw F5 module looks at the transactions of an organization, the CO module's focus is to manage the costs and looks at increasing the profitability. So the subcomponents of the CO module revolves around cost elements. Cost elements is actually a mirroring of the GL accounts, but specifically for revenue and expense accounts. So CO module is more towards the P&L statement or the income statement of an organization. So that's why the revenue and expense accounts are usually mapped as cost elements. Then you have cost centers. Cost centers, mostly the divisions or departments of an organization, are mapped as cost centers. The company's business lines is called the profit centers. So profit centers, you will get both revenue and costs, whereas in cost centers only the expenses are usually posted. So any business lines, for example, if you take a multinational company like Unilever, they might have many business lines: health care, personal care, soaps and detergents, beverages. So these all can be different profit centers. Internal orders, you might not have heard about this terminology before. Internal orders in SAP is used to monitor short-term projects or small objects. For example, if you have a fleet of vehicles and you want to monitor those fleet of vehicles individual costs of each vehicle, then you can create them as internal orders. Similarly, if you have a small marketing campaign or some promotion activities, you can create them as an internal order and monitor their costs. Profitability analysis, just like the word says, it deals with analyzing the profitability of your products. Rather than just looking at the profitability of each product, you can go into more detail and look at at each region, how's your profitability. In each country, how's your profitability. For each customer type, what is the profitability of your products. For each distribution channels, you can decide what's the profitability of your products. And then you can even go into more detail for this customer in this particular country, in this particular region, how much profitability am I making for my products. Product costing deals with analyzing the cost to produce your items. So this will help you to manage the cost of your production. By minimizing the cost or to optimize the efficiency, the processes, you can analyze the cost, put a plan value, put a budgeting value, and see how much your variation is between the costs. Overall, the CO module deals with managing the costs